I just decided like 6 months ago that I want to start preparing my mind and my body for pregnancy, just in case it does happen sooner than what we expect. The importance of eating clean, whole, organic foods and just really supporting your body through those micronutrients so that when I am ready to plant a seed, I guess you can say, or when Sean's ready, that's so awkward. Another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, but it needs to be talked about, is that generational curses and generational trauma is so real. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming a video that I have obviously never filmed before, and it's very different than most videos up on my channel. And to be completely honest, I'm a little nervous to film this video. I don't know, just talking about this topic just gets me a little sweaty. So we are just gonna get right into it, because when I'm nervous, I ramble too much, and we're not gonna do that. So today I'm filming a video about how I'm preparing my mind and my body for pregnancy. But even though I am filming this video, I actually want to say real quickly that Sean and I are actually not currently trying to have a baby. In a perfect world, we would love to have our first baby like in a couple years. But the reason why I'm filming this video now, even though we aren't currently trying, is because for many reasons actually. So the first one is that I saw a quote somewhere about how if you know you have a marathon coming up and you've never done a marathon before, wouldn't you want to train for a marathon? And obviously pregnancy and labor is way more intense than a marathon. So just preparing my body for something that could potentially happen, or just start preparing my body years in advance, I feel like would help me so much for pregnancy and labor. But secondly, and so many of you guys actually follow me because of my coming off birth control series. So 2 years ago, I decided to come off of hormonal birth control. And like I said, I have a whole series on that, on why I decided to come off, all my side effects about coming off, and so on and so forth. But overall, I've had an amazing experience since coming off birth control. I literally am like a whole new woman in such a good way. But since coming off birth control and seeing the positive side effects of coming off birth control, I have decided that I no longer ever want to go on any type of hormonal birth control. I feel like I'm more in tune with my body. And so with that being said, I'm not on birth control, if you know what I mean. And, you know, I'm married. My husband and I do married things. And even though we do use one form of protection, and this is going to be also a very TMI video. And this is kind of personal, but I feel like a lot of women don't talk about this. But my husband and I just do the withdrawal method, I guess you could say. I know, super TMI, but that's what we personally like. And also on top of that, I make sure that we're not doing the deed on high ovulation days. So it's like kind of two forms of protection, but with both of them, obviously there is still a very high chance of pregnancy. And so I just decided like 6 months ago that I want to start preparing my mind and my body for pregnancy, just in case it does happen sooner than what we expect. And also with that being said, if it does happen when we are at least expectant of it, then we would be more than happy, because that is obviously part of God's plan. But again, in a perfect world, we would like to wait a couple years. So yeah, that is why I'm starting to prepare my body for pregnancy, even though I'm not currently trying for a baby, because it could happen. And also in a couple years, I want to be fully prepared, even though no one's really fully prepared, but at least for things that I can control, like my body and my mind, I want to be prepared. So 6 months ago, I decided to start preparing my mind and body for pregnancy. And I actually wrote out a whole Google Doc on everything that I need to do before conception, during conception, pregnancy, and how to prepare for labor, and then postpartum. I wrote down every single thing that I can possibly do to just help with my mind and my body during this whole entire process. Again, if you know a marathon is coming up, wouldn't you want to prepare for it? And this marathon could happen at any time, so I want to be prepared. And also, I'm a very type A person, so we're just gonna get right into the video. And if you see me looking at my computer, it's because I have the Google Doc up. And also, if you want a link to this document, I will be more than happy to send it to anyone or put a link down below. I think I can link it, I'm pretty sure. I'll try to figure it out because, again, for the past 6 months, I've been listening to podcasts, been watching YouTube videos, reading articles, all the stuff that will help me to prepare for pregnancy, to prepare for my dream labor and birth and everything. So I put all of that information into a Google Doc. Actually, before getting into this, I do want to do a quick disclaimer and say that everything that I'm talking about in today's video, I want y'all to take with a grain of salt. Obviously, what works for me might not work for you, but honestly, it might not even work for me. But with all the research that I've done, all the stuff that I read, it just helps just a little bit with pregnancy. And if it just helps a little bit, I'm so for it. And also, obviously, I'm not a doctor, so just do what works best for you, try it out, and obviously consult with your doctor first before doing anything. So the first thing that I did to prepare my body for pregnancy is come off hormonal birth control and balance my hormones. And so, like I said, I have a whole series of videos on that topic. So 2 years ago, I decided to come off hormonal birth control, and so for the first year of coming off, I really focused on balancing my hormones and getting that synthetic hormone out of my system. In the book that I mentioned in those series, it's a book called Beyond the Pill by Dr. Jolene Brighten. She talks about that on average, it takes 9 months to a year for that synthetic hormone to get out of a woman's body. So that's what I did for the first year, is to really focus on just detoxing my body from all the synthetic stuff in the pill and just rebalancing my hormones. Okay, so the next thing that I did to prepare my mind and body for pregnancy is a preconception doctor visit and check my fertility and hormones. And so, like I said, I spent the first year and a half or so really focusing on rebalancing my hormones, taking the synthetic hormone out of my system. And then from then, when I felt like my body was back to normal, I guess you can say, I decided to make sure that my hormones and my fertility are good to go, even though I'm not currently wanting to try for a baby. Because say when I did my test and there was some red flags, some concerns, then I can start preparing my body now and working on those concerns for the next 2 years or next couple years until I'm ready to start trying for a baby, so that when I am ready to try for a baby, I'm not just like doing the deed and it's taken a while and I don't know why it's taken a while. So that's why I truly believe it's so important to regularly check, did I say regularly? Regularly check your hormones and your fertility beforehand, or even every single year, even though you're not wanting to currently try for a baby, because when you are ready, say it's in a couple years, like I said, and there are some concerns, you can start now to work on it. And so what I did is actually take a hormone fertility test through Modern Fertility, and they are actually sponsoring today's video, which is so exciting and so convenient, obviously, for today's video and everything that I'm doing to prepare for pregnancy. So if you've never heard of Modern Fertility, they are the only comprehensive fertility hormone test that you can actually take at home. So how it works is that you go to their website, modernfertility.com, you sign up, and then you request a test. And then a doctor will then review your request and order your test for you. And you can also take this test even if you are on hormonal birth control. You just have to make sure it's noted. So the test will be customized based on your birth control. Then you can actually take your test at home, or you can request to take it at a local Quest Diagnostics lab. With the test, it comes with a prepaid label, so you don't have to worry about paying for shipping or anything. And then once you ship it, it takes about, they say 10 days to get your results, but I literally got it within not even 2.5 days, which is super, super quick. And then once you get your results, you will get a customized report dashboard, which is honestly my favorite feature. So with this customized report dashboard, it will tell you your ovarian reserve, it will tell you your general hormone health, it will tell you what you could expect if you were looking into IVF or egg freezing, and so much more. And then say if there are some concerns, you can actually print out that report and take it to your primary care doctor to talk with them. Another thing with Modern Fertility, which is super cool, is that if you have any questions at all, they actually have fertility nurses that can answer your questions. So this is what the test looks like. It's obviously empty because I used it, but I wanted to show you guys that even though it looks super small, it comes with everything that you need to take the test. All the instructions step by step, so it's very easy to use. I literally did it first thing in the morning because you have to do it fasted by myself. So pricking my finger and then doing the dropping the blood on the sample, which obviously I didn't show in the video because I know some people are sensitive to that. I just did it myself, super easy. I also got these ovulation tests and pregnancy tests. So yes, they also sell these alongside their hormone test, which is honestly very convenient because even though we aren't currently trying, like I said, having these ovulation tests will tell you your 2 most fertile days. So say Sean and I are in the mood, but obviously we don't want to have a baby right now, taking these tests will tell me if I'm at my high peak fertile days. So then we know to be extra, extra careful. So even if you're not trying, having ovulation tests are very convenient, especially if you're not on birth control. And then obviously, since I'm not on birth control and not using other forms of protection, having pregnancy tests is convenient because we have had a few pregnancy scares, I guess you can say. So you can actually get all 3 of these on their website, which I'll leave a link down below. They also gave me a $20 off discount link, which I will leave down below. So if you guys want to try any of their products, especially their hormone test, check my description box and it will save you $20. I totally forgot to mention this, but with my results, everything was normal, which I'm very, very happy for because I was a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, because for the past 2 years, we haven't used like physical forms of protection, if you know what I mean, and we've just been doing the withdrawal method. And I personally know people who have used protection and still got pregnant, and since we're not using protection and we haven't gotten pregnant for the past 2 years, it kind of made me wonder, like, is something wrong with my fertility? I've always wondered that. Obviously, it's just not God's plan for me to get pregnant, which I'm totally fine with, but I was still a little nervous for my results. But thankfully, everything came back normal. And then the next thing that I want to talk about, how I'm preparing my mind and body for pregnancy. This section of it is before conception. So everything that I'm talking about is everything that I'm doing before I'm ready to conceive. So first thing that I'm doing to prepare my body for pregnancy is 1, eliminate toxins. And I know that sounds very like hippie, holistic, but I saw an article somewhere about this lady who was trying to have a baby for years, and she did everything under the sun to try to conceive and have a baby, but nothing was working. She tested her hormones, tested her fertility, everything was fine, but she literally could not figure out why until she started doing more research about like toxins, how it gets absorbed into our skin, and then how it disrupts our systems in our body. So this sounds super crazy, but it's obviously true. She literally changed her underarm deodorant. And normal underarm deodorant has aluminum in it, and that could be like a whole video of itself, but I definitely recommend doing some research on that. But aluminum is obviously not very good for your body, and so she switched to an all-natural deodorant, and then within a couple months, she got pregnant, which is so crazy after years of trying. So that just kind of goes to show that eliminating toxins will really help my body when I am ready to conceive. And I kind of already been doing this for a while, especially for my hair care and my skin care, because I've just noticed that my hair and my skin thrives on non-toxic products. So almost all of my skincare is non-toxic, especially, like I said, my shampoo and conditioner. It doesn't have any sulfates, phthalates, parabens. It's basically all natural. Another thing that people don't take into consideration is like household items. A lot of household items can actually be filled with a lot of toxins and chemicals, like cleaners, candles, and so many more. So I switched a lot of those stuff to non-toxic products. And this topic is very controversial, I know that, and obviously we live in a society where there's toxins and chemicals everywhere, but if you can eliminate those toxins by 50%, it will literally do wonders for your body. So just lessening your toxic burden will help increase the chances of pregnancy when you are ready to conceive. And then, like I said, and I wrote it down here, toxic chemicals can cause interruption within our endocrine system as well as other vital systems as well. So the next thing that I'm doing to prepare my body for pregnancy, and again, I basically already do this not just for preparing my body for pregnancy, but also for my health and fitness journey. So it is stretching every single day. But I wrote down that stretching every single day will just help keep you loose and mobile for pregnancy, but most of all for labor. But the one thing that I'm focusing on the most to prepare for pregnancy in terms of stretching is stretching my lower back and my hips. If you guys didn't know, I was in a pretty bad car accident in 2016. I have 3 herniations in my lumbar spine, so I do tend to get some back pain here and there, and obviously when you are pregnant it's kind of known to have back pain because of all that weight in the front. So I feel like stretching that area has helped me a lot, not only in the gym, but I feel like that might help me with my pregnancy as well. It may not, it may, but literally doesn't do any harm to do it anyways. And then hip opening stretches. So I read somewhere that doing hip opening stretches before pregnancy, and especially during pregnancy, will help with pregnancy. I'm saying pregnancy so many times, but will also help with labor because obviously your hips are changing because of having a baby and growing and everything. So yeah, that is something that I'm doing to prepare for pregnancy, just so that when I am pregnant, I don't feel as tense. So the next thing that I'm doing is something that, again, that I already do, but it is very, very important for me and my goals, and it is to continue to exercise. And so I talked to my doctor actually about, like, when I am pregnant, can I still continue working out and everything? And she said, if you can do it before pregnancy, you can do it during pregnancy. So I definitely want to continue weightlifting before I'm pregnant, so that when I am pregnant, I would love to continue weightlifting. Obviously not go super hard or intense or anything, but I would still love to lift weights when pregnant. That is like one of my biggest goals, to be able to do that. And there have been many studies that say that women who lift weights while they're pregnant or working out while they're pregnant helps so much with labor. But also I wrote down that getting in shape before pregnancy really helps make pregnancy easier, such as helping your body tolerate the extra weight and the decreased oxygenation that occurs when pregnant. So the next thing that I'm doing to prepare my body for pregnancy is incorporate pelvic floor exercises. And I had absolutely no clue that, like, the importance of your pelvic floor in terms of pregnancy and labor. Like, I had absolutely no clue until I started doing research for the past 6 months. So what I've been doing for the past 6 months is just doing these pelvic floor exercises that I found off of YouTube by this certified therapist, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the exact title that she has, but she's very well known for pelvic floor exercises and pelvic floor strengthening exercises specifically. So the reason why I wrote this down is that it decreases damage done to the muscles by the strain of carrying a growing baby, and it also decreases the risk of injury during a vaginal birth. It speeds up recovery, it decreases the chances of a leakage, and it also decreases low back pain and pelvic girdle pain, which obviously, like I said, low back pain, I'm trying to really focus on that. And then most of all, it makes sex more enjoyable. So working on your pelvic floor muscles are just so important in general. But that is something that I've been really trying to focus on for pregnancy, because I don't obviously want to leak myself, or obviously I don't want to have a lot of pelvic girdle pain when pregnant and everything. So yeah, I will leave a link down below to that YouTube channel, and it's very simple. You honestly can do it while you're working or at a desk because no one knows that you're doing it. And she goes in depth on how to actually activate those muscles, which I'm not going to talk about, but definitely recommend checking her channel out. I'll leave it linked down below. Next thing that I'm doing is something that I already do, but again, it's very important in terms of preparing for pregnancy, and it is eat clean whole foods. The reason why I put this down is because in this article that I read about preparing your body for pregnancy, it had this little quote, and it puts it in a different perspective, and it really opened my eyes because it's very true, I guess you can say. So it says, a gardener always gets the soil as nourished as it can be before he plants his precious seeds. The healthier the soil, the more vibrantly those seeds will grow. And so just that quote itself just shows the importance of eating clean, whole, organic foods and just really supporting your body through those micronutrients, so that when I am ready to plant a seed, I guess you can say, or when Sean's ready, that's so awkward. But when I am ready to conceive, that my body is supporting that process, I guess you can say. Yeah, like I said, I kind of already do that, so that is something that I really want to continue to focus on. The next thing that I'm doing to prepare for pregnancy is support my gut. And if you guys watched any of my other videos, then you know that gut health is so important, and I always preach that. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and we live in a society where there are a lot of gut damaging things, I guess you can say. But just supporting my gut by eating those clean, whole, organic foods, by supporting my gut through eating probiotic-rich foods like kombucha, kimchi, having a probiotic supplement. Because when you are on hormonal birth control, and in the book that I mentioned earlier by Dr. Jolene Brighton, that pill can wreak havoc on your gut, and it can cause something called leaky gut syndrome. And when you have a leaky gut, even if you eat all these clean, whole, organic foods, all those micronutrients literally just go in and out. They don't get absorbed because of a leaky gut. Supporting your gut will just help with the absorption of all those micronutrients from eating those clean, whole, organic foods. So honestly, I should have put that before the last point that I said about eating clean, whole, organic foods. So those are all the things that I'm doing to prepare my physical body, I guess you can say, for pregnancy. The next thing that I want to talk about, and it's kind of deep, but it's so important, and I feel like more women need to talk about this, but it's preparing your mind for pregnancy. And I truly believe that mental health is just as important as your physical health or your outward appearance, because if you're not mentally healthy, there's no way that you can be physically healthy, and there's no way that you can take care of your body or prepare your body for pregnancy if your mind is not right. So in terms of preparing my mind for pregnancy, I wrote down focus on mental health and healing and de-stressing. And so the reason why I wrote that down is because I read an article that says studies show how you respond to stress/trauma can actually be passed down to your baby, especially during pregnancy. And then having a baby will just add salt to unhealed wounds. And if you are unaware of your own wounds, you might unconsciously try to fix your childhood through your children. And that is something that I do not want at all. Another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, but it needs to be talked about, is that generational curses and generational trauma is so real. And I'm ending the generational curses and generational trauma with me. Like, it's not going to my children, in Jesus' name. So with that being said, part of that process is healing from my own trauma, healing from my own unhealed wounds and hurt from other people, so that it doesn't get passed on to my children, and so that I don't unknowingly try to fix it through their childhood, because I do not want that. I want to be the best mom that I can be mentally. But most of all, when I am pregnant, I want to be able to enjoy that journey. I don't want to have to then focus on healing unhealed wounds and dealing with undealt with trauma. So that's why it's so important to focus on it now before I'm ready to have a baby, because like I said, having a baby will just add salt to those wounds. And I know people who've had babies and never dealt with their undealt with trauma or hurt, and it just is kind of like a band-aid. It just covers it up, and when it comes out like a volcano, and because they never actually faced it and never actually took the time to heal from it. So that is something that I do not want, especially when pregnant, or especially most of all when we do have our kids around. So yeah, that is how I'm preparing my mind for pregnancy. And then now let's talk about conception, or when I'm ready to conceive, which is so crazy. So first thing that I put is that I'm actually going to continue with everything that I mentioned earlier on in this video about preconception. So the stretching every single day, eliminating toxins, pelvic floor exercises, eating clean whole foods, all of that I mentioned, I'm going to continue to do when I'm ready to conceive, or when we are trying to have a baby. And then the next thing that I'm going to do when I'm ready to conceive is track my cycle / ovulation, and then do the baby dance on such days. So this is where the ovulation tests come in hand. So when we are ready to have a baby, I can take these tests, and then when it tells me my 2 most fertile days, then we can do the baby dance on those days. So it just helps with increasing the chance of falling pregnant. And tracking my cycle, which my cycle is actually very regular since coming off birth control, which I love so much. I'm very, very in tune with my body and with my cycle. So the next thing that I'm doing when I'm ready to conceive is start taking prenatals. So prenatals obviously just supports your body for conception, because it has extra nutrients that your body needs that like certain regular multivitamins don't have. So when we are ready to start trying, I'm gonna start taking prenatals, especially prenatals that have, or even if they don't have, I think some do, but taking a folic acid supplement. And that is my next point. So taking a folic acid supplement 3 months before conceiving. Studies say that it helps prevent neural tube defects like spina bifida. And then the next thing that I'm doing, which is kind of fun, is using this website called perinatology.com, and this will actually tell you your, like, if you put in your ovulation days and you do the baby dance on that day and say it was successful, it will actually tell you your trimester dates. So it will tell you when your first trimester is, your second, your third, and it will actually do a prediction of your due date, which is super cool. So even though obviously it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it's just fun to see when you're going to be in certain trimesters, like if you're going to be in a certain trimester around a specific holiday, and how you can dress up your bump and everything. So stuff like that is really fun and something to look forward to. So I definitely recommend that website if you're currently trying to conceive. Next thing that I'm going to do when I'm ready to start trying for a baby is focus on rest, and the next point is kind of goes hand in hand, but is decrease intensity for workouts. So focusing on rest and decreasing the intensity for my workout will just help increase the chance of conception, because there's not as much stress on my body. Sorry if the angle changed, I had to change the battery, but that is everything that I'm doing to prepare my mind and my body for pregnancy. But when I do fall pregnant, you know for sure I'm going to do a whole video on how I'm preparing for labor and delivery, which again, I already have all the notes for it. Your girl's ready. It's just when I become pregnant. Like I said, I will leave a link down below to everything that I mentioned in today's video, especially the modern fertility test. Again, you will save $20 off with my discount week. So just do it. It gives you a little peace of mind, and if there are some concerns, you can start working on it now so that when you are ready to have a baby, you are ready and set to go. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because honestly, your girl might become pregnant in a couple months and I might have to do my labor video. So subscribe just in case. You never know what could happen. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.